Hi, good morning, class. Today we are going to talk about quadratic functions here. Quadratic function when it's increasing and decreasing, and when we have a maximum and we have a minimum. What is the first thing comes in mind when you see the word maximum, minimum, increasing and decreasing? And type everything on the chat after 3. You have 10 seconds to do that. All right. Yes. So maximum is when you reach the highest point, right? And then while the minimum is when you reach the lowest point, and increasing when you are going up and decreasing when you're going down, right? So let's talk about how many type of quadratic function we've seen in the class. Yeah, we've seen 3 type of quadratic function in the class, but today we are going to talk about the vertex form only, right? So we are going to focus on the vertex form, right? So remember the form of the vertex form, right, is f of x equals to a, right, and then x minus h squared, and then plus k, where your vertex is equal to h comma k, right? And then where your symmetry is x equals to where your symmetry is x equals to h, right? So let's say that we graph, let's graph 2 functions. We're gonna graph 2 functions here. The first function we're gonna graph is when your a is greater than 0, and then we're gonna graph when our a is less than 0, right? So let's graph this first. Let's graph the first function where your a is greater than 0, right? So this is our coordinate plane here, right? So this is our coordinate plane. Let's say that our h over here, let's say that our h is positive, right? Let's say our h is positive here. So if our h is positive here, right, and then our k is also positive here, meaning that our vertex is somewhere over here, right? And while our symmetry is right there, right? So our symmetry is right there, right? So let's say that since our a is positive, so if our a is positive, what do you think is going to happen to the graph? Is this going to face up or face down? Yes, it is going to face up. The reason why it's facing up is because on our property, we say that when a is greater than 0, my graph will be facing upwards, right? So now let's find out the maximum and the minimum and increasing and decreasing here, right? So let's say that I am on the right, on the left of my graph here, and I'm on the left of my graph. I am going down here. What happened here? Am I increasing or decreasing? Yes, I am decreasing, right? I am decreasing when my x is, right, is it less than the symmetry or greater than the symmetry? So you notice that you're on the left of the symmetry. If you're on the left of the symmetry, is it less than h or greater than h? It is less than h, right? So meaning that you're on the left of h here, right? So this is your h comma k here. You're on the left of h, meaning that you're increasing, you're decreasing when you're on the left of h. And then when you reach over here, what happened when you reach there? Based on the definition that we've seen, we say that it's going to be, yes, it's going to be a minimum here, right? So meaning that my minimum over here is my lowest point, which is always going to be k, right? So meaning that my mean, we can call it minimum, is equal to my k value, right? And then also let's say that when I get reach my minimum here, and I go back up here, when I go back up here, what happened? Am I increasing or decreasing? Yes, I am increasing. I am increasing when my h is less than 0 or greater than 0. Look at this carefully. We are on the right of our symmetry here, right? Is our symmetry greater than 0 or less than 0 here when we are increasing? Look at the graph carefully. Is it on the right or on the left? Yeah, it's on the right, meaning that it is greater than my h. So if you were to make a conclusion, we're saying that when our a is greater than 0, we decrease on the left, and we have a minimum, and then we increase on the right of our symmetry. All right. So let's say that our x is less than 0 here. So our a is less than. So if our a is less than 0, meaning that over here we have a minus sign here, right? So if we have a minus sign here, let's graph that. Let's graph that real quick, right? So let's graph that. So let's say that let's make our h negative this time. So our h is negative and our k is also positive. Let's make our k positive here, right? So if our k is positive, so we are somewhere over here, right? So since a is less than 0, what do you think happened to the graph? Is it going to be facing up or facing downwards? It is going to face is going to face downwards. Yes, it's going to face downwards here, right? My graph is facing downwards here. So let's say that I start my graph over here, right? I go on the left here, I start my graph here, and then I'm going up here, right? I'm going up. What happened to my graph here? Am I increasing or decreasing? I am increasing, right? I am increasing. I am increasing when my x is on the left of my symmetry or on the right of my symmetry. It's on the left of my symmetry, meaning that my x is less than h. That's when my graph is increasing, right? So let's say that my graph is decreasing here. I'm decreasing. I'm going to call DEC, right? My graph is decreasing when my x is, look at this carefully. I forgot to mention that. What do I reach here? When I'm here, what do I reach over here? What do I reach? I reach a maximum, right? I reach a maximum. So I reach a maximum, and my maximum is always to be what? My value here. So meaning that my max is equal to my k value, right? And then when my h is what? When my h is what? When my h, when my I'm decreasing now. Let's say I'm going up over here. I'm decreasing over here. So I'm decreasing over here on the right of my graph, right? On the right of the graph, and on the right of my symmetry over here. So look at this carefully. I am going down this way. So I'm on the left, I'm on the right here, and I'm here. So meaning that my x is my graph is increasing when my x is greater than my h, which my h was minus h, right? So what is the difference between those two graphs? So to make a conclusion over here, we could say that when my a is greater than 0, I have a minimum, right? I have a minimum, and then I am decreasing on the left, and I am decreasing on the left and increasing on the right. And when my a is less than 0, I have a maximum, right? And then I'm increasing on the left here, on the left, and I'm decreasing on the right, right? So here's a problem. We're gonna do this example, right? Let's do this example together. F of x equals to -2, and then x minus 4, and then plus 3. All right, let's do this one together.